Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can find the most optimal outreach volume for your agency. So what I mean by that is how much outreach every single day do you need to be doing in your agency to find success? So guys, this is a very common question that I get asked and Tom gets asked, which is, Harry, how many cold calls a day do I need to do to reach $10,000 a month? Or how many DMs do I need to send to sign my first client? And it's a very frustrating question that we get asked because there isn't a set answer. There isn't a universal number of cold calls that you make that you're going to sign a client every 50 cold calls, because that number is different for everyone. If Tom or I did 100 cold calls, we're going to book 10 times more meetings than someone who's never made a cold call before. That's just because of our experience. We understand how to handle objections. So it's impossible to give that type of figure. However, that being said, the advice that we give to people in terms of how much outreach you need to do is very simple. It's as much as you physically possibly can do in the time that you have. If you have 3 hours that you can physically put towards SMMA a day, because you get home at 6, you have tea, you have dinner, and you're working 7 till 9, or you work 1 till 4. Why would you only spend 30 minutes of that available time to grow your business on cold calling because someone says you need to do 20 a day? Well, no, do 100 a day, and then you're going to get to where you need to be 5 times quicker. It's the same with ad spend. When we talk about how much ad spend you need, someone who spends £1,000 on ads is going to get the results and the data they need to know 10 times quicker than someone that spends £100. And it's the same with cold calling. If you cold call 1,000 businesses, you're going to get to where you want to be 10 times quicker than if you cold call 100 businesses. So just because someone said call 20 businesses, message 10 business owners, like we've said in a few of our videos, if you've got more time available, times that by 10, times it by 50 if you've got all day, because if you really want it, that's the only way you're going to get to where you need to be. And sales really is a numbers game. Providing you understand how to sell, providing you understand how to communicate to business owners, providing you have a clear strategy from cold call to discovery call to meeting to closing to contract to invoice, the more calls you do, the more clients you're going to sign, the more meetings you're going to book, the more clients you're going to sign. And it really is a funnel. Like, it really does funnel down. You do 1,000 calls, you're going to book 50 meetings. You're going to sign 5 clients. You do 10,000 calls, you're going to book 500 meetings and sign 50 clients. It really does work like that. So it's not possible to do to give you a set figure, but there's no reason why, if you've got a 3-hour period to cold call, you can't cold call 100 businesses. And people's immediate response to that is, Harry, does a call that doesn't get answered, does that class as a cold call? And that's a very strange question, because what that tells me is you're just trying to get through 100 calls as quickly as possible, put your phone down, say you've done it, and then you're going to blame the industry that the fact that those 100 cold calls, haven't come to anything, when in reality, you've only spoke to 2 people and it's taken you 10 minutes. I could dial 100 phone numbers right now in the next 15 minutes and not get an answer, and I'd be done. But that's not going to get my agency anywhere. So rather than saying how many calls you need to do, I'd rather you ask, how many hours a day do I need to put into outreach? Because you could, like I say, you could do 100 cold calls, all 100 don't answer in about 25 minutes. So really, you want to speak to as many people as possible. If you're having really nice conversations, say you're doing cold calling for 3 hours and you only get through 20 calls. However, 10 of those calls were really nice conversations that lasted 15 minutes with business owners that may have gone to a meeting. Some of them would, some of them wouldn't. Some have asked for a callback, some want more information. Then that's a really good cold calling session. But on paper, you've only done 20 calls. And people might see that as a failure. And you've got to ask yourself, would you rather tick a box of making 100 calls a day and speaking to 2 people, or do 20 cold calls, have loads of really nice conversations and book meetings? Obviously the second one. So what I would do, there's a video on this channel, which I'm going to link to at the end of this video, which is Tom's spreadsheet. It's a downloadable spreadsheet. The link's in the description of that video, of how to track all of your calls. And in that video, what we discuss is, billionaire Dan Pena says you need to make 2,000 cold calls to become a multimillionaire. And obviously, those 2,000 cold calls need to be substantial calls. They need to be held and seen through with a bit of decorum and skill. So if you're doing 2,000 cold calls and you have no idea what you're talking about, you're obviously not going to become a multimillionaire. But if you've got the skill set, you've gone through the academy, you've gone through some kind of training, then 2,000 cold calls really you should be scaling your agency way past $10,000 a month. And that spreadsheet that we give you downloadable in that video is the exact way to track how to do it. So to summarize this video, guys, is put the time in rather than a set number of outreach. Be realistic, but also don't cut yourself short. Like 25 Instagram DMs a day, I could do that in seconds. And we hate it when people message us saying, Harry, I've been doing cold calling and I can't get any meetings booked. And we say, well, how many cold calls have you done? Harry, I've done 10, did 20 the week before. It's like, that's 30 calls. I could do that in an hour. So you've done an hour's worth of outreach. You need to be doing 30 every 3 hours. Like when Tom and I were when Tom and I were in our really heavy sales phase where me and him were doing the outreach. Now we have a team that does it. But when we were doing it, we were doing 100 cold calls every single day, qualifying 100, calling 100. And we were an absolute machine at it because we knew that was the only way we were going to get our agency off the ground. Sitting back, sending a few emails, sending a few LinkedIn messages, sending a few DMs wasn't going to get us anywhere. We need to be picking up, and ringing businesses at scale and putting our brand and ourselves out there. And that's what I applaud you guys to do. But yeah, short and sweet video, guys. It's just something I wanted to touch because I get a lot of questions on it. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Please, please, please make sure you subscribe. Keep following us on Apple Music and the podcast, because all of these videos get uploaded as audio on all audio platforms for you to listen on the go. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. We'll see you tomorrow for tomorrow's video at 9 AM.